I am in the designed ecosystem of a customer I'm going to call LD. And LD first called us back in 2007. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. I'm going to put it in context, and hopefully you can use this kind of a job as an example of the type of job that will come to you as you begin to learn the 6 tree preservation actions of the Cheap to Keep Tree and Landscape Protocol. Now, in the beginning, in my introduction, I told you that the 3 areas of improvement are systems, processes, and technology. And we will be able to address all 3 of those with systems of the protocol and how we record data and make decisions that are data driven, that are actually aspects of adjustments to his designed ecosystems that we don't have to guess at. And then secondly, we have processes of applying the 6 tree preservation actions, some of which we've already done, some that we're going to do now because of a new set of problems that he's brought us into. And then the technology, which is the new air tools, supersonic air excavation, and the types of plant growth regulators and probes that we're going to use in order to access the critical root zone. Remember earlier on in the dirt work I told you that a lot of this is preparatory so that you can focus the resources into an exact area. They're too expensive, and they need to be put in the areas where we know, new view, know where the critical root zones have the most absorptive capacity with their fibrous roots. I hold in my hand LD's Tree Resource Evaluation. It is a report that we started, information that has all of the subject trees that I'm about to talk to you about indicated. We started in 2007 with the removal right over here on another part of the yard of a storm damaged pine tree down on his fence. Then he called us back wanting to cut down hickory and gumball trees because they were putting hickory nuts and gumballs all over his yard, and as you can see, he's got plenty of grass and turf here that he wants to preserve. And in order to do that, he wanted to cut down those trees. And what we said is, no, why don't we use a deflowering hormone? It's called snipper. And what we did is waited till they flowered, injected with a micro injection technique. You're going to learn it in the inoculation and population section. Pay attention to it. And we eliminated for 2 years, he says 3 years, 3rd year that the hickory nuts and the gumballs were very, very small, but we eliminated all of that fruiting for 2 years in his hickory trees and his gumball trees, and he still got them because they are major shade producers. And then I'm referring to his job quotes. He called us back again from 08 into 11/1/10, where we did aeration and decompaction of a 4th oak tree. As you look behind me, there is 3 oak trees, and as you come around over here, there was a 4th one here, and that's a blank spot now, and it was so close and so competitive that we ended up in removing that tree to make it possible for these other trees to survive and thrive. And I don't know that we did the takedown. We weren't doing removals and stump grinding at that time. We subcontracted that out to someone else, but if you still have that capability in your company, that's a job for you as well. And so we went from there to growth control of these 3 trees. And what happened in the intervening time is the landscapers began with a heavy routine of nitrogen fertilization, and these trees have started to compete unfairly with all of the others that you see here, and we're going to have to come in per his request and begin to prune the middle one of these 3 oak trees. Then we're going to aerate some 18-inch to 3-foot rays around the bottom of the tree so we can apply a growth regulator. This is paclobutrazol. You're going to see it illustrated once again in inoculation and population. We're also going to biostimulate in these 6 Bradford pears that you see here, And these Bradford pears are within a very short distance of the waterfront seawall, and it is controlled by the Department of Natural Resources and the Fish and Wildlife Commission, and we are not allowed to take anything down. We have to live with what we have unless we were able to satisfy a number of requirements, none of which the owner was willing to do. And so we've got another job to prune and growth regulate these 6 Bradford pears. You know that they're a hybrid variety. They've fallen out of favor, but it's what he has and it's what he's got to work with. And so we have divided it up. Now later on I'm going to get into a whiteboard presentation. I'll show you all of the economics on this and how all of these jobs break down. But the bottom line is simply this. We were able to, now it's 2012, after a 5-year history with LD, we're able to come back in and we literally are going to perform every tree preservation action that you see illustrated. And this is a continuum of what we've done to manage his designed ecosystem. He has an entirely different view of what he wants to happen now. And he doesn't want all of these trees competing unfairly with one another, blocking his view, shading his grass. He puts a premium on turf maintenance, and we're starting to work closely with the landscapers now to substitute in other products other than the chemical routine of nitrogen fertilization that is unfairly stimulating these hybrid Bradfords and the willow oaks that you see here, unfairly stimulating all of these trees to grow completely out of character. It's not what they're designed to do. They are being unfairly stimulated, and all we have to do is adjust the routines. And so it takes cooperation. We're using every step of the protocol in order to do this. We're amending his tree resource evaluation. This becomes an extremely valuable document. It's something that we refer to all the time. We've got additional job quotes that we'll be preparing dating back from '07 all the way now through 2012. And so this is the type of jobs that I want you to begin to cultivate. This is the future of the tree business. This is something that when he called us in, rather than doing just a simple chop job and taking the limbs, loading them up, chipping them up and being gone, now we've got the capability to regulate the growth, to shape in a controlled area next to the waterfront the Bradfords, because they are restricted from doing that. We do air work at the bottom to expose the root collars, because the root collars on the 6 Bradfords were never done. And we now have biostimulation, because we want to make sure there's enough of the nutrients in there to make sure the microbiology that has been killed with this chemical applications has been reinvigorated, and they are able to establish a balance, the balance that the owner has described to us that he wants, the look that he needs to see. And so I just thought I'd bring into the yard. I will show you exactly what his designed ecosystem is all about and give you an idea of what you're about to see in these upcoming 3 sessions of biostimulation, inoculation and population regulation, and time, place, and space. We're going to touch on all of those in this one job, and you'll see the economics involved and the money that's to be made.